Welcome back, this is Board Game Officer. So today we're going to go over another 18 hex game. Now this one is kind of a mind blower, like really makes your mind think. I love it. So this one is called ISO because it uses the isometric perspective. So we're going to go ahead, jump on in. We're going to do a quick how to play, we'll do a little playthrough, and then we'll do a little review at the end. So let's go ahead and jump in. So here we are at the setup. What we're going to do to set up, every single one of these has a block side and then a goal side. You're going to put it all block side up, create a pile, and fill off the first three objectives there. Now, let's talk about the block side real quick. All blocks are going to have these three colors, and then they're also going to have a black square, a white square, and a clear square. Each tile is going to have a different indicator on a different color, right? So they kind of mix match that way. And then you have the objectives on the other side. And I'll kind of go through them in a little bit, but as you can see, it's got what the middle thing is the objective. The stars is how difficult they are and how many points you get if you obtain that objective. And the bottom, that's just a reference number. On a 2 to 3 player competitive game, what you're going to do is each player is going to choose an indicator. And that indicator is what they're going to identify as the whole time. So each person picks one of those indicators, and that's their identity for that game. And that's going to come into play a little bit throughout the game. So, and then, as I said, you're going to reveal the top 3 objectives on that pile, and then you're going to take turns picking one tile up and placing it out into the playing field. So the first player to go is just going to place out that tile randomly. Then the next person is going to go, and you are going to place this always on a straight side of that hex. Then the next person will go, and they'll play that. The next person will go, right? You just place one at a time. This is where the mind-boggling kind of starts in, right? So as you see these three, look at them as a cube, right? So that's the top, and these are the sides. That's the top, those are the sides, that's the top, those are 2 of the sides, right? Now, these objectives, you're trying to complete this in one of those perspectives. Meaning, like when we have that set up right there, if we look from this left to the right side, we're going to see these 3 blue faces, right? If you kind of go down to that side and look in that perspective, you can't see the top or that front side. All you can see is that side there. And that makes the same pattern as that right there. Therefore, completed that objective. This is where it gets a little bit more confusing, right? Seeing them all as blocks kind of get your mind going, but okay. Then what happens when you place one like that? Now you're like, wait, the cube, which way is that facing versus that, right? So now the cube doesn't work. Now this is a room. So think of it as a room where this is a wall, and this is the floor. So now when you're looking at this perspective left to right, you see the 3 blues, and then you see that pink directly underneath that blue, right? So you gotta have to like change your perspective. It really kind of boggles your mind, especially when you get into these type of objectives. If all the tiles are just white, it means that all the tiles have to be the same color, but it doesn't matter any color. So these could have been blue, these could have been pink, as long as they were the same color. The centers don't matter, just the colors. Now when you have this, once again the blue, that means that one will have to be a blue one. And then these 3 white ones, doesn't matter what color they are, they just have to be the same color as each other. So they could be other blue ones, they could be other pink ones. Now this is where your indicator really comes into play, is when you have these squares. Whoever turn it is, whoever's trying to get this objective, it has to be their indicator. So if I'm the black indicator, these 2 will have to be black. I need a black square there, and then any other color but with a black square. If I was the white indicator, then these would have to be white, and the other person would have to get black. Right? So that's where the indicator comes into play, is when the objective has those squares. The last type of objective there is an area objective. Now the area objective have to be touching orthogonally, so not diagonal. So these are diagonal, those do not count. So this has to be 3 or more pink ones touching orthogonally. So to kind of demonstrate that, so here we have 3, right? If you're looking down from the top there, these 3 are all touching orthogonally. So that means we get this pink one. But the second thing we have to look at is that the indicator. That area has to have the majority of your indicator. If I place this one, which makes that 3rd pink one, and if my indicator is the clear one, cool, I get that. But if my indicator is the white one, I do not get this yet. Majority of the area has to have your indicator. Also, you can only gain the objective if you place that tile to complete that objective. If you flip one over and there's already an objective there, it doesn't count. So you've played, gain that objective, then we will reveal the next objective, which is the same thing as we just did, but it has to have 5 or more yellows. And we'll place that so there will always be 3 objectives available throughout the game. Then you're going to go until all the tiles are out. And as soon as there's no more to place, game's over. You get 1 point for each star. So you count the score, and whoever has the most points wins. Now, if there's a tie, then the way you create that tiebreaker is whoever completed the most objectives. And then there's a tiebreaker after that. You just have 2 winners. You both win, you're both good. So that is the 2 to 3 player competitive way. Now we're going to talk about the solo/co-op variant. The gameplay is the same. You're still just going to place this, but now you choose one indicator that you will identify as for these, so you could only identify as one. So for the solo, right, you play the same one after another, but what you do is you are a team or you're by yourself, and so you just count up as many points as you do, and then it shows this list here that tells you how good you did by determining how many points you got. And the last mode is area control mode. So you're going to pull out these 3 objectives only, and you're going to play with these objectives. But you're not obtaining these objectives until the very end. Meaning, you are trying to create as many orthogonally connected pieces of that color. But, as I said before, to obtain this at the very end, you have to make sure that the majority of the indicators within that area are yours. It's kind of a battle throughout. We're all working for the same type of pattern, but you're trying to get your own indicator the most in that area, so you win that at the very end. So you play the whole game, and then as soon as we're out of tiles, then you'll look up to see, okay, or the biggest yellow that has 5 or more, and whose indicator has the most on it. Then whoever has the most points at the end wins that one as well. We're going to go through a quick solo playthrough so you can kind of see, to show you how it's played, and then I'll kind of do a review after that. Alright, so we shuffled everything up, we made our pile, we'll flip the top 3. So we'll see what our objectives are. Ooh, and we're starting with some hard ones. We got 2 stars and a 5-star right off the bat. So let's go ahead and place out our first, we're gonna choose the clear indicator for our indicators throughout this game. So we will start putting that one like that. So let's go out to the side here. So we're gonna go out to the side right there. So we got from the blue side, we were starting to make both of these actually, right? We're starting to make that line there with the blue ones. We're just gonna keep making that one as well with that blue one. So now we got the 3 base. Now we just need these 2 top parts to get both of those. Ooh, but I got another circle, and I've almost got this one, so I'm actually going to put this one right here. As you can see, still coming from this way, we've got those 2 touching with those 2, and then we also have that. So we actually almost have all 3 of these already. But we have to make sure we're not messing everything else, because once we get new ones, if we're totally screwed up, we're not going to get any more points. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do that right there. All right, we've finished our first objective. If we look from this way in, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And our indicator is the clear indicator, which those 2 are clear, which those have to be indicators. That is blue. These 3 just have to be the same color. So we have completed that objective, and we flip the next one over. So now we have to get a 3+ up for a yellow, and we still have these. Ooh, look at that as well. With that, we also completed that one on the same thing, so we also get that one. Reveal another one. But as you can see, we already have this straight, right? This is, if you could really tell, there are very faint lines here, so this is 3 tiles there. As you can see, we already have a straight line, but this was not out when we placed that tile, so we do not get this yet unless we place another blue somewhere within that line. Then we would complete that one. I'm going to place this one here. Sometimes playing by yourself, it's easy to stay on one. It might bite me in the butt at the end, but as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 looking from this direction, making that shape, so we get that objective, and we flip over our new objective. So I'm going to place this one here. Now, as you can see, this one that we just pulled, looking from this direction, we've got 1, 2, and 3, and they're connected diagonally, 1, 2, 3. So looking from that direction, we have that pattern, so we get that one, and we flip over a new. Ooh, we got a 3+ and a 5+ now. I'm going to place this one here. If we're looking straight down from the top, we have these 5 that are all touching orthogonally. However, so that we would get this 3+. However, only 2 of them have my indicator, so we do not get that. So I lied. Even though we have 5 connected here, this only needs 3. So as long as I can pick these 3, and because my indicator has most of them, I get it. I think I could do that. I don't know if I have to count the 5 area, but I'm counting it. So we'll get 2 points for that one. Ooh. See, now we got that 5. So now we'll have to place one more there to get that because this was not available when I placed that tile. I'm going to place this blue, this one here. So that creates that line. But so I only have 2 left or 2 objectives, but I only have 1 tile left. So I get to choose to take this instead of revealing another one. So I'm going to take this one because what I could do is I could place it right here. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 of them are my indicators, so I do get this one here. And that's the game, right? So now let's go ahead and count up our points. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16. And according to this chart, it says, well, not too bad. That's where we scored within that table for solo/co-op play. So let's go ahead and go over a review. What I like about this game, once again, with all these 18 hex games, I mean, that's the size of the box, right? Fits in your palm, super small, super easy to take. It's only 18 hexes. It's super quick to learn, but at least definitely with this one, really hard to master. I hope you were able to follow along with me as I was doing that because it was looking at a lot of spaces, and I was actually playing it really easily because I never even turned one like that to make it a wall and a floor instead of walls and a top, right? Because my mind wasn't being able to calculate that. So I even played it on a not very optimal level. Right? I only got 16, which was, well, not too bad. The rulebook is like 5 pages, right? So it's super quick and easy to learn, but it feels so deep, right? Trying to do those patterns, depending on what objectives you get, depends on what you're trying to do, depending on your indicator, especially if you're playing against someone, right? You don't want to set them up to get one of the objectives. So you're like, well, I don't want to set them up, so I can't place that one yet because I know they will be able to do that because you can see which one is coming next. I love all that thinking game and that perspective thing going back and forth. Absolutely love that part of this game. Another thing I like, because you're always getting new objectives, it always feels like a different game, right? Even though you're kind of doing the same thing each time, because objectives come up in different orders depending on the time. Sometimes you don't even see some of the objectives, right? So every time you're trying to do something different and the whole map is totally shifted. Really enjoy the replayability with this game. Now, a couple things I don't really like. With saying how much I liked this different aspect, like if you're not in the right mindset, it's going to be too hard, right? Because you really have to like think in all different perspectives and really tort your mind around to try to figure out what's going on here. So if you're not ready to really think, it can be a light game, but it really can be an in-depth game. So if you're not in that headspace, it might not be as fun. That's really the only thing that I really didn't like about this game. Also, once again, it's a small box game, right? So if you want something just quick and easy, I think this game is for you. If you want something more in-depth and longer and it's bigger battle, it doesn't really give you that. But I don't think it was meant for that either. But just letting you know, I played that in about 5-10 minutes. So if you're looking for a more bigger in-depth game, definitely not it. But I don't think that's what they're going for in this game anyways. But if you like that quick 5-10 minute game, but it still gets you to think, I think this game's for you. I really, really enjoyed this. It took me 3 or 4 times playing to be able to really look at it and understand what I was looking at. And I took like a couple-day break, came back to it. Felt like I had to like look at it all over again. Super fun though. I really enjoyed that kind of brain teaser way of that. So go ahead, check it out on Kickstarter. I'll put the link down below when the Kickstarter starts. And thanks.